In the event that we needed to choose 10 spots, here are the ones we would prescribe you to visit in Paris. Feel free to experience passionate feelings for 1. Eiffel Tower. What might Paris be without its emblematic Eiffel Tower? Worked by Gustave Eiffel to recognize the centennial of the French Revolution, it is introduced at the Exposition Universelle in Paris in 1889. 324 meters high, it is one of the most visited landmarks on the planet with about 7 million guests per year. The primary floor houses the Eiffel Tower 58, which reaches out more than 2 levels, 58 meters over the ground as its name proposes. On the subsequent floor, the view is the best at 115 meters since you have a jumping view on the ground underneath. At last, on the 3rd floor at 275 meters, you can perceive what the workplace of Gustave Eiffel was. For the more courageous one, it is conceivable to utilize the steps and climb the means 1,665 to the highest point. The climb of the Eiffel Tower is an absolute necessity to appreciate the eminent perspective on Paris. 2. Notre Dame Cathedral. One of the most suffering images of Paris, Notre Dame de Paris, otherwise called Notre Dame, a Roman Catholic house of God, is situated on the eastern portion of the Ile de la Cité. It is broadly viewed as probably the best case of French Gothic design in France and Europe. Started in 1163 and finished in 1345, this house of prayer is a sight with its entrances encompassed by his numerous models and figures of deformity that decorate the rooftop. We encourage you to stroll around the house of God. At that point, head inside and climb the 387 stages to the highest point of the towers. The move to the highest point of the towers can be debilitating, however you will get an all-encompassing perspective on the district and see the acclaimed beasts very close. 3. Louvre Museum. The Louvre is the most visited workmanship historical center on the planet. Situated in the core of Paris, this memorable structure is a previous imperial royal residence, with a region of 210,000 square meters including 60,600 for the presentations. The historical center is housed in the Louvre, initially a stronghold worked in the late 12th century under Philip II. The remaining parts of the stronghold are noticeable in the storm cellar of the historical center. The assortment is partitioned into 8 offices. Egyptian ancient pieces. Oriental ancient pieces. Greek, Etruscan and Roman. Islamic art. Models of the Middle Ages, Renaissance and modern times. Objects of craftsmanship. Canvases. Realistic expressions. 4. Champs Elysées, Arc of Triumph. Under the spell of old Roman engineering, Napoleon appointed Jean Chalgrin the plan of a triumphal curve committed to the wonder of royal armed forces. Worked in the 19th century, it is the biggest landmark of its sort on the planet. Amazing models embellish its columns. Furthermore, the names of 558 commanders and the incredible triumphs are engraved on the highest point of the curve. Under the Arc de Triomphe is the tomb of the unknown soldier of France. The all-encompassing patio over the entryway offers an excellent perspective on Paris. 50 meters high, 45 meters wide and 22 meters down, the Arc de Triomphe is situated on the Place de l'Étoile, which prompts the Champs-Élysées, which is nicknamed the most wonderful road on the planet. It remains on 1.9 kilometers between Place de la Concorde and the Arc de Triomphe. There are numerous extravagance boutiques, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, Guerlain, Montblanc. Spots of entertainment, Lido, films, well-known bistros and cafés, Fouquet's. 5. Cruise on the Seine. Locate the most ideal approach to visit the City of Light, appreciating a journey on the Seine, particularly around evening time. At the point when the sun sets, the landmarks are lit gradually. You get an all-encompassing perspective to the bleeding edge so you can appreciate the magnificence of Paris, Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, Pont Alexander III and some more. You can likewise appreciate a supper journey on the Seine on board a vessel. For around 2 hours, you are invited. 6. Montmartre. Montmartre is a slope situated in the north of Paris, 130 meters high, having its name to the encompassing neighborhood. It is most popular for the white domed Basilica of the Sacred Heart, at the top. It was finished in 1919 and respects the French survivors of the Franco-Prussian War of 1870. In case you're in the region, do visit the square of Notre, hardly any squares from the Basilica. There are numerous craftsmen setting up their easels to paint vacationers or display their work. Spot du Tertre as a token of when Montmartre was the center point of current workmanship in the mid-20th century. Numerous specialists, for example, Amedeo Modigliani, Claude Monet, Pablo Picasso and Vincent van Gogh worked there. The Espace Salvador Dali, a historical center committed principally to figure and drawings of the Spanish painter, can be discovered a couple of steps from the square of Tertre. The acclaimed men's club Moulin Rouge is situated in Montmartre. 7. Palace of Versailles. The Château de Versailles is the most acclaimed manor in France. Worked in the 17th century as an image of military intensity of France and as an exhibit of French incomparability in Europe, Versailles was the seat of political force in the Kingdom of France from 1682 to 1789. This enormous complex of structures, gardens and patios is certainly an absolute necessity for any guest who will be enthralled by uncommon housing, luxurious designs, furniture and overlaid works of Renaissance craftsmanship. Visit Versailles. You will begin by the state apartments and the well-known Hall of Mirrors, the Queen's Chamber. Remember to walk around the popular French gardens. 8. The Latin Quarter, Luxembourg Park. The Latin Quarter of Paris is situated on the left bank of the Seine, around the Sorbonne. Known for its understudy life, vivacious air and bistros, the Latin Quarter is the home to numerous advanced education organizations, for example, the École Normale Supérieure, the École des Mines de Paris or the École Polytechnique. The region takes its name from the Latin language, which was once across the board in and around the university since Latin was the worldwide language of learning in the Middle Ages. The Luxembourg Park is a private nursery open to general society made in 1612 in line with Marie de Médicis to go with the Luxembourg Palace. The Parisians lovingly consider it the Luco. The nursery encompasses the Palais du Luxembourg, where the Senate seats. Updated by André Le Notre, it is extremely wonderful to stroll around. You will likewise discover a plantation, a few assortments of apples, an apiary and a nursery with orchid assortment. There are 106 sculptures, a bronze decrease of the Statue of Liberty and 3 lovely well springs. 9. Moulin Rouge. The Moulin Rouge is a men's club known as the otherworldly origin of the well-known French can-can. Situated at the foot of Montmartre slope in the core of Pigalle, it was worked in 1889 by Joseph Oyer and Charles Seidler. At first presented as a romance move, the can-can made conceivable the introduction of the supper club, presently present in numerous nations around the globe. Today, the Moulin Rouge is a vacation destination, giving diversion to guests from around the globe. Its style and its name have been imitated and obtained from different dance clubs far and wide, Las Vegas, for instance. Moreover, numerous movies have helped the notoriety of the supper club, for example, Baz Luhrmann's film in 2001, featuring Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor. 10. Disneyland Paris. Fanatics of Mickey can visit Disneyland Paris, which is found 32 kilometers from focal Paris, with an association with the rural RERA. Disneyland Paris has 2 amusement parks, Disneyland, with Sleeping Beauty's Chateau, and Walt Disney Studios. Top attractions are Space Mountain, It's a Small World and Big Thunder Mountain.